A brand new article dives further into the plans for Destiny 2's future. Large content packs with new destinations, raids, and campaigns. A focus on developing replayable unique activities. More information on some of Bungie's cancelled projects like Gummybears, a MOBA with fighting game-like elements. The Project Payback third-person Destiny shooter, and despite the current situation, everything going on, employees remain confident in their work despite leadership issues. Let's discuss. So over the last couple of days, there's been many articles and many opinions and theories floating around about the future of Destiny 2. Of course, things don't look good, they don't sound good, everybody likes to jump on that doom and gloom train. A new article from Paul Tassi sheds some more light on the situation, and some of it could be taken in a positive manner, not everything has to be all depressing. Further clarity on Destiny 2 Frontiers, Destiny 3, and the state of Bungie. The link to this article can be found down below. Let's first start with a section titled Future Destiny Plans. Over the last couple of days, we've heard the word content packs get thrown out, how there's no major expansions and Bungie is going to be pushing out these smaller updates. The larger content packs, though not true expansions, will contain familiar elements like new destinations, raids, and campaigns, just much smaller scale on the whole. Shadowkeep-ish size, maybe, though not that format. A goal is developing more replayable, unique activities like the Coil. He speculates that if we're leaving the solar system and we're going to see some of these new worlds, he's not sure if this would be free. That will be the main release of a given year. And then 6 months later, there will be another pack of smaller content that's more something along the lines of what we got with Into the Light. That one should be free. Between these, there may be something akin to current episodes, though the scale and schedule is not clear. Generally speaking, the idea is less sprawling, one-off campaigns and a greater focus on replayable activities, the hobby aspects. With the new Frontiers format, there aren't widespread updates that will hit every facet of the game at once like most expansions used to. It will be less than players are used to, not to say there will not be things worth playing. So me personally, when I hear that, yes, we like these large expansions, the final shape was incredible for the players, but just because things are scaled back a little bit doesn't necessarily mean it could all be bad. Shadowkeep was an okay expansion, it brought back a familiar destination, gave us a new story, and although he's just talking about the size of the content, maybe it's even better. Of course, depending how it's executed and what's included. Are the missions fun? Will the activities keep players coming back? When I heard some of these leaks and information over the last couple of days, it was like, I don't know about all this. Content packs where they just give us Into the Light style content and nothing else. People are going around saying no more story content at all. But the fact that there still will be new destinations, raids, and campaigns just on a smaller scale is still a plus for fans of this game. Take a step back for a moment and think about it from this perspective. How long could they keep those major expansions going and at the high level they were aiming for? Witch Queen was great, they tried to top it with Lightfall but fell short clearly, and the final shape had to be the biggest thing they ever released. The culmination of 10 years of story into that one important moment. Would it make sense to try and make an even bigger expansion, top the final shape just a year after that? Forget about the resources, they clearly didn't have that, but just topping some of the stories and activities in a bigger expansion sounds kind of daunting. The current episodes format is not the greatest, but it does give us things to do. With Echoes so far, we've had new missions, new battlegrounds, there's going to be an exotic mission in Act 3, and who knows what else. Things just feel kind of out of place in my opinion because of these droughts we've had, the 3 weeks of waiting, and then 3 weeks of content. If that was all pushed back to back, playing through it from start to end, it would feel more cohesive and fans would enjoy it more. I guess we'll see with episode 2 because that's what they're doing. So big points there, main release like Frontiers, in between that maybe content like episodes, just not clear to what extent, and 6 months after that, a smaller free update along the lines of Into the Light, which may not be a bad thing either. Remember back to the October layoffs, everybody was like, okay, Destiny is dead now, it can't get any worse than this. We played through Into the Light, which brought a bunch of players back, and then the final shape. So some of those releases there just show you that they can bring players back, and good things could still come from this ancient franchise. Let's talk more about the cancelled projects at Bungie. In yesterday's video, we talked about Payback, a Destiny spin-off game that was cancelled back in June. In the article, it says some elements of Payback seem to be shaping up well. The third-person adventure spin-off shooter Luke and Mark were doing. I have not heard anyone say it was a flat-out bad idea or terrible in practice, even if the concept sounded like a significant departure from the series. I've heard multiple people say that of all projects, Gummybears seems to be the most promising, the game that is going over to Sony under the new team. It has MOBA and Smash Bros-ish fighting game elements and is supposed to be very fun. Destiny 3 was and is considered too big of a risk in the current market. The idea was instead to split up Destiny as an IP into more manageable components. The PvE portion we have now continuing in D2. Payback for an adventure genre expansion, a mobile game from NetEase, and spinning out a separate 3v3 Crucible game channeling Trials. It appears none of this is happening now, alongside Destiny 3 never being in production in the first place. There are no plans to just shutter Destiny, and long-term rebranding remains unclear. But it's D2 Frontiers content only for the indefinite future, and Marathon remains the big thing right now into 2025. The sheer amount of stuff that was done for the final shape was massive apparently. Story was rewritten multiple times, missions redesigned multiple times. During the delay, they built a colossal amount of new content. The Dread, Dual Destiny, the Verity Encounter, exotic class items, Ergo Sum, GM Excision. The reason being is that the studio was told the expansion was make or break, and now they all feel lied to for obvious reasons. Now the new mantra is that Marathon is the make or break for the studio. That is true, they better hope Marathon does well, because the way we look at it right now, Marathon and these other projects took away from Destiny in the long run. So if that game's not good, there's going to be some major issues. It is interesting to hear all that content was thrown together during the delay though. An entire enemy faction, multiple missions, a raid encounter. The teams that worked in this stuff must have been pretty talented for that. The new player onboarding experience remains an issue because the team who did the whole Cosmodrome Shaw Han thing never got to take a crack at it again. Apparently everything has been divided up into strike teams now, even individual missions and activity modifiers. They form, are dissolved, and reform. Speculation is that the higher-ups saw that players liked when they called things strike teams, so now there are a million strike teams. Even with updates, many tools are exhausting to use and everything takes forever. And if Destiny 2 content is still being added, there will indeed be more vaulting for technical reasons alone. Though whether the no more expansion content vaulting rule applies is unclear. So Guardians, that's all we have for this video. Overall, yes, things are scaled back. We may not receive giant final shape expansions, but we will still get new content for Destiny in the future. Frontiers seems to be the next milestone. Story missions, raids are still a thing, and until we see that content and play it for ourselves, we can only speculate. A big majority of the player base will throw in the towel right now before even seeing that content and give up on the game they've been playing for all these years. They rightfully have the option to do that, but personally I like to take the more positive side of things. As I talked about in a comment in my video yesterday, the Destiny IP is just too valuable to be thrown into the trash. There's so much that can still be made within the game, movies, missions, books, anything. So new stories, characters, and destinations definitely excites me. If you'd like to see some more Destiny news, lore, and mysteries like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.